Good morning, YouTubers. It's John Gilkison here, AeroStealth. Today is Monday, April 14th, 2025. And today, while we were shopping, I bought a couple floodlights, and they are tunable as to CCT, or Correlated Color Temperature. They have a dial on the side that allows you to tune the color temperature between 2700 Kelvin, 3000 Kelvin, 4000 Kelvin, 5000 Kelvin, or 6500 Kelvin. And this is a new thing, to me at least, and so I needed to buy a floodlight for the post office, because I'm the one that our local post office put in some floodlights, and I spec these kinds of floodlights with a proper color temperature. And there's a reason for that. The proper color temperature for outdoor lighting is 2700 Kelvin or 3000 Kelvin. And the rationale behind that may be a little bit obscure to some people. But I'll give you an example. The city here recently installed LED streetlights, and I didn't catch on to it right away. They had a program going replacing streetlights with LEDs, and by the time I did, they'd installed most of the main arterial streetlights with 4000 Kelvin streetlights. And I went down with a doctor friend of mine, and we interviewed with the city departments that were relevant, and I took a display and some charts, and I showed them how a higher color temperature like 4000 or 5000 Kelvin in a street light backscatters more blue light to the night sky. And as a matter of fact, I showed them how over a 3000 Kelvin street light, a 4000 Kelvin street light, which is what they were using, backscatters twice as much blue light to the night sky. And I said this is in violation of the spirit of the outdoor lighting ordinance that was passed in 2000, which calls for full cutoff lighting, and the goal of the outdoor lighting ordinance is to keep light as much as possible out of the night sky. Of course, you still have ground reflectance. But backscatter, it's called Rayleigh scattering, as a matter of fact. It's why the sky is blue in the daytime. Backscatter from blue lighting is pernicious in this respect, and just most people who install lighting just aren't aware of this issue at all. So behind me, you're seeing the floodlight set to 2700 Kelvin. And I'm going to go ahead and get the box for you so you can see what I'm talking about. And you can see it right here. It shows the color temperature adjustments that are on the bulb, and you can see on the floodlight itself right there, there's a dial. And this particular one is the equivalent of a 90-watt incandescent floodlight. It only uses 12.5 watts to produce 1050 lumens. Now, I don't know how they measure this lumens for something that's tunable like this, because, and this is one of the rationales for many street light applications, the lighting companies will want to sell the cities 4000 Kelvin lights because they claim they're more energy efficient. They produce more lumens per watt. In the example of this floodlight here, it's producing 85 lumens per watt, which far exceeds the HID applications that used to be used, high intensity discharge like high pressure sodium. So anyway, LED way outperforms high intensity discharge, high pressure sodium lights. So And they're saying, well, 4,000 Kelvin is more energy efficient, and if you get a 3,000 Kelvin light, it won't produce as much light per watt. And while this is technically true, it's a false conundrum because the human eye doesn't respond well to blue light at night. Now, it turns out that human vision has 3 different components, but one of these components is that we're dark adapted. And when we're dark adapted, the sensitivity of the human eye is shifted over 48 nanometers towards the blue. And so we're tuned to starlight, but only at low light levels. But in a street light application, we're exciting metopic vision, which is a blend of both daylight and dark adaptation. And so the more blue component there is into your lighting, the more you're losing the eye's ability to adapt to darkness. And this is not something that's in their measurements or in their metrics. But the human eye is just far more comfortable with soft white or 3,000 Kelvin lights than it is with the 4,000 or 5,000 Kelvin lighting. And this is one of the reasons you'll see in home lighting applications indoors, almost everybody invariably migrates towards soft white lighting, is what they call it. It's really just lower temperature. The original Edison bulb was somewhere around 2,400 Kelvin or something like that. They almost a replica of a candle or kerosene light. So the human eye does very well with that, and it creates less glare, less veiling glare than blue light does. And although a blue weighted light may seem brighter, you see your visual acuity at night is much reduced, in my opinion. So I want to demonstrate this light for you. Now right now it's set for 2,700 Kelvin. And unfortunately I can't get my fingers in this shell here to tune it, so I have to take it out. So I have to unscrew it. But that will give me an opportunity to show you. Try that with an incandescent light bulb. You'd be burning your hands. Right there's the switch. And right here it's set for 2,700 Kelvin. Now if I just tune this to 3,000 Kelvin, you're not going to notice much difference. So what I'm going to do is switch it all the way to 6,500 Kelvin, which they're calling blue daylight or something. I don't know what they call it. I would never use it. And here we go. Switch is a little delicate, so you got to be careful with it. Okay, I've set it to 6,500 Kelvin, and you're going to see a remarkable difference. You see that? You can see the blue. Now I'm going to switch it off and I'm going to just tune it to 4,000 Kelvin, which is kind of the middle. And of course, I've used both ends of the spectrum, so you're not going to notice this as much, but just don't want to drop it. So here we go. Click, click. Well, there you have it. So I'm going to just turn this off for now. I got this at Walmart. I was amazed to find this. But also, I found 2 area lights. I think one was around 900 lumens, and the other one was thousands of lumens output. It was a big long thing with LED panels, 3 of them in it, and they're both operated with solar panels on top. Neither light requires any external electricity sources, and they're tunable just like these. You can set these lights up for 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. So if you wanted an area light, and it's full cutoff, by the way, so what you do is you get one of these and you tune it to 2700 Kelvin, and you got it. Now, I didn't know years ago, I knew an LED lighting revolution was coming. What it took was in the 1990s, the Japanese came up with the blue LED, and that's what it took to make a full color spectrum LED light. And that's what hampered the marketplace. And it wasn't until around 2014 that LEDs entered the marketplace at scale, and the price came way down. You could buy them before that, but the price was too high. And there was a lot of compact fluorescence on the market, which people didn't like, apparently. And a lot of people complained, and they wanted to stick with incandescents, even though they used 4 or 5 times the amount of energy per lumen. And I was the vice president of a lighting company called Negawatts Inc. And my president of the company, Jim Jensen, he died in 2012. The company had dissolved in the early 2000s. And he had retired. And so 2 years after he died, the LED lighting revolution came onto the market at scale at low prices. And I was kind of saddened by that. One of the primary products we sold in that company was the T8 lamp, which is a tri-stimulus phosphor lamp that's operated with electronic ballast. And so for 54 watts with electronic ballast, you could have a lamp that was 40% more energy efficient than regular fluorescent lighting, and also had good color output and didn't flicker because it operated at 20,000 hertz or something like that. I forget the figures now. It's been a long time. And when the LED lighting revolution came into being in 2014, one of the things that came in with it is the T8 LED lamp replacement for the T8 fluorescent lamp. And it got rid of one of the problems we were having. A lot of people balked at the electronic ballast part of it because it increased the price, and it put a payback out around 2 years, which is nothing. But a lot of people didn't want to make that kind of investment, and especially institutions. And all of a sudden, here's an LED equivalent of the T8 lamp with different color temperatures that didn't take a ballast at all. You could hardwire it in. And there it was. Our whole business model would have been sunk by that. And nowadays, you go into a place like Walmart, Home Depot, whatever, you'll have a hell of a time finding an incandescent bulb. I don't know. I haven't even looked for compact fluorescents. I'm sure they're still out there, but I don't see them. LED's completely taken over. So this idea that you can tune the color temperature of the light that you're buying to whatever suits your fancy is one I never expected, but it's a great one. Now, me personally, I'd rather just buy lamps straight up, already tuned to 27 or 3000 Kelvin, and skip that complication. And this floodlight is even dimmable. It's another thing you couldn't get with compact fluorescence, except in very expensive models. So it added a lot of expense. So there you have it. If you want, if your city's using 4,000 Kelvin, try to talk to them about it. Tell them they should be using 3,000 Kelvin because it's much more friendly to the human vision. And it actually takes less light to see just as well. And I just thought this was amazing. I just ran across this last week. So take care, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and publish this under Tunable Color Corrected Temperature LED Lighting. And we'll see you underneath the next street light. Bye-bye, everybody.